Good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning into Molly's Salon. This is our weekly program from Arena Stage every Thursday evening where I interview innovative thinkers and creative firebrands. These firebrands are a variety of artists and leaders discussing new ideas, how they're coping with the coronavirus, and glimmers of hope for the future. My guests this week are Robert Barry Fleming, Executive Artistic Director, Actors Theater of Louisville; Nathan Allen Davis, playwright and power play commissioned artist; and Kathleen Turner, award-winning actor, most recently at Arena in Mother Courage. So let's start with Robert Barry Fleming. Robert has a career that has spanned just about everything. In performance, he was in the original bus and truck tour, national tour of Cats, and on Broadway in Ragtime and Stand-Up Tragedy. In directing, his work has been seen nationally from Cleveland to Oregon to San Diego. And as an artistic leader at Arena, Cleveland Playhouse, and now at the Actors Theater of Louisville. And Robert, you kind of came in twisted a little bit like this.
I know.
There you go.
There we go.
Say another piece of performance from you, Robert.
You know, I like to do the Cirque du Soleil intro, so there you go.
You did.
You're welcome.
And the next time we see you, you're gonna be thrown up against up and against the wall. And now you're at the Actors Theater of Louisville, and
Yes.
you are there as the Executive Artistic Director.
Yeah, it's
so
been
great
a
to see you, Robert. And
thank
hey,
you.
there's Nathan Allen Davis. He came in a little bit early. Hi, Nathan. How are you?
Good.
Just stay here with us, Nathan. I'm gonna interview Robert first, and then we're gonna get right to you. So, Robert, tell me, has your experience as a performer made you a better or a different administrator?
Oh, I think undoubtedly there's you know, the company is aptly named Actors Theater, and I think about the work of an actor as something that is really comprehensive and in the widest use of the word, the largest scope of that word, that it is a person who does and a person who enacts and embodies. And we at Actors Theater really committed to unlocking human potential, building community, and enriching lives through theater, and feel like having the experience as an artist in that venue has been invaluable in terms of leading, supporting artists, supporting artisans, engaging with our stakeholders in a meaningful and substantive way.
Well, Robert, I can also imagine that because of being an actor, and I know this from working with you for a number of years at Arena Stage as our Deputy Artistic Director, is that you're a great speaker. And I'll bet it was partly from all of your years of performance that allowed that to happen, or you honed that craft.
Yeah, you know, the communication piece is so essential, and being able to do that through your voice, through your body, through your thoughts that lead, and the emotions and the spirit that lead. All of that is part of the actor's craft. And we work on those things rather intentionally, and I think seek to embody things. And when you move into leadership, as you well know, embodying your organization's mission becomes a part of what the task is. And so also just being able to model, watching you as a leader and learning from you. My deep love and appreciation for artistic leadership was getting to watch you lead at Actors and see how you shepherded so many multidisciplinary things to work comprehensively and holistically for the whole. That was very, very exciting for me as an artist. And yeah, just really filled a great sense of purpose and how to be of service to your community.
Well, you know, I'm so proud of you, Robert. You're a wonderful leader. You're a unique leader because you lead in such an authentic way. And some leaders, that's very hard to do. but you do. Who you see is who you are. And you always respond in that way. And I'm excited for you to talk to us about a part of what you have been doing during COVID-19, which is, I've been watching, and you were doing wonderful work online with the theater. So will you talk to us about some of the things that you're doing, really, really cool things that are happening right now at Actors Theater?
Yeah, you know, for a time that is so unprecedented and so remarkably challenging, there has been a silver lining in the way that we've been able to engage certain artists in the virtual world. And we've had spoken word artists like Hannah Drake, Lance G. Newman, who are locally engaged artists, as well as civic leaders, share their spoken word poetry with actors and other spoken word artists on a digital platform in a way that's been very impactful and commenting and experiencing and translating what we're experiencing with the reckoning with systemic racism, as well as the challenges of navigating what it is to be Black men and women in this country at this time. And they're just remarkable chroniclers of our time. It's given us a chance to do residencies in the West End School for a project, our Ali Summit project. Idris Goodwin and myself have gone to work with young brown and Black boys in learning their sense of self, both in movement and spoken word, and embodying the essence of what Ali stood for. So there's just been a real exciting range of ways that we've been able to engage that I think, had the pandemic, not happened, would have manifested in an entirely different way than this. And so we just keep looking forward. We keep counting our blessings that there is a way to continue, and that artists are as resilient and innovative as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm curious, Robert, because you're one of those people that has made theater all over the place: New York, Washington, D.C., San Diego, Cleveland, and now Louisville. What's different about making theater in Louisville?
Well, there's something incredibly personal about Kentucky. I grew up here from 5 to 17, a place that really was formational for me in all the great ways and all the problematic ways that our early years can shape and create who we are in the world and how we see the world. And so I think I've always been in conversation with Kentucky, no matter where I did my art, because it's so fundamentally who I am. Those years from 5 to 17, finding out who I was as a queer person, as a Black person, as a child of two educators, as an artist in a place that the value of being skilled with a ball, all of those things is highly valued. All of those things create an ecosystem that is very complicated. And Kentucky's plantation capitalism history with sports, history with any number of things has shaped the community to respond to this moment in the national and global reckoning with colonialism and how that's impacted different ecosystems in a really specific way that I think just feels like home, just feels like, so I absolutely love where I'm getting to practice. I feel like everything spiritually was leading me back to this path. It's rare that one gets to go home, and unthinkable that I would get to go home and practice my craft as an artist, as well as be a leader and be of service to a community that I think is on the cusp of something very, very special in terms of evolution.
Thank you, Robert. I'm sad to say we're already at time, but I can't wait to come and visit you in your new home and to watch all your brilliance on stage.
Thanks so
it's
much,
great to
Molly.
see you, Robert.
Great to
Take
see
care.
you. Much love. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next up is Robert Allen Davis. Nathan Allen Davis. I'm sorry, I got Robert on my brain. And Nathan's an Arena commissioned power play writer whose plays include The Refuge Plays, Nat Turner in Jerusalem, and Don Trell, Who Kissed the Sea. He has a ton of awards, from a Whiting Award in drama, the Stavis Playwriting Award, Steinberg Award, Big Fellowship, the Lorraine Hansberry Award. He's also written for television. He's a lecturer in theater and Berlin playwright in residence at Princeton University. Hi, Nathan.
Hey, Molly, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. It's great to see you.
You too. Sorry, I snuck in on you there.
I actually loved it. It was a flash act. It was a moment of stepping in. It was great. It was great. So I wanted to talk to you. I mean, clearly I want to talk to you about High Ground, because almost 100 years ago, there was a horrific massacre that took place on Black Wall Street in Tulsa in 1921. And probably 2.5 years ago, we commissioned you to write a play around this event for a power play, and how present it's become. It keeps becoming more and more present, because at that time, very few people were talking about it. And you've created this really beautiful new play called The High Ground. Would you talk to us about it?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I remember that conversation that we had on the phone, Molly, and you asked me what I was thinking about, and I mentioned Black Wall Street because I had only recently learned about the massacre. Now, I knew the term Black Wall Street, but I didn't even really know that it was in Oklahoma. So once I did some research and I found out there was this massacre that happened in 1921, I think the first thing that really got at me was the fact that I had never heard about it. The fact that could have graduated from high school and college twice and still have not known about this was really disturbing. And then also to find out that there were people who grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who had no idea about it. So I think it was just the fact that the history itself was so buried that really got at me. And the play has taken on some different forms. So the current form that it's in, which I believe it will probably remain in, is as a two-hander. And yeah, I'm not really good at talking about it yet. I'm still writing it, but I think that I wanted to write a play that was about our relationship to history, and it's not so much trying to recreate or reimagine history itself, but a play that deals with how do human beings handle the weight of history. And so if the play is doing its job, I think it'll convey something of what that feels like.
And I love how you've brought the story into the present, so that we really have this deep sense of the past at the same time. And Seema's also saying, I love how the play also explores Black love. Yeah,
I mean, I think that, I guess for me, the past is never really past, and I think that the way that we really experience history, I think if we're taking it personally, is that it's our story, and the idea that the past is something, I mean, of course we know that we can't change what happened in the past, but the idea that means that we don't have a relationship to it, I think is false, And in fact, like the way that we look at history really depends largely on how we look at the present. You can interpret the same event a million different ways. And I think ever since I was young, I've always struggled with grappling with what it means to live in this country and all the contradictions, that we have to exist in. And I think it's a necessary struggle to have, to wrestle with the truth and see what to make out of it.
I think that that's a common theme in a number of your plays that you've written. There's this sense of wrestling with the past or wrestling with history. And I can't wait until we are able to produce your new play because I think it's provocative. What you've written is provocative, and it's extraordinary, the relationship between the two characters in it. I think our audiences are all going to lean in, Nathan.
I hope so. I hope so.
You know, you even had a workshop over Zoom in April in the early days of the pandemic. Was that totally crazy, or did it immediately become, okay, this is just the way we're working?
It was good, you know? I mean, I would love to be able to, I guess, complain about it because, you know, as a human being, we love, humans love complaining about our circumstances. But I mean, the fact that it's a two-hander, one, makes it a little easier to deal with logistically.
Yeah.
And we did the workshop, and honestly, it was, I mean, you know, one of my biggest struggles, sorry, arena staff and all the theaters that I've worked at, but, you know, getting pages in last minute and having to print them out, right? So Zoom workshop, I send the pages in at 7:59 and we start at 8 or whatever the time is. And we're good to go. But no, it was very productive. Megan Sandberg-Zakian, who's directing, she did a wonderful job of kind of, I guess, sort of owning the fact that we're all in a digital space together, but it's still a space. And I think that it was really nice. And we got a lot of good work done. So.
And you got a lot of good work done, which is always the important thing. I'm really curious about what kind of music you're listening to right now that's giving you joy.
Oh, I didn't expect that question. Well, I've been listening to some music by Son House, who's a blues musician. I recently heard about his music, and I'm investigating it for a possible theater project. I mean, nothing that's set in stone by any means at this point. But I've found, I didn't listen to a lot of blues per se growing up, but listening to his music and there's this concert that he gave that I watched a video of. It was so intimate. I don't know how they filmed it exactly. It's on YouTube. If you just Google Son House, S-O-N House, you'll find it. But he just has a very his presence was so palpable even on this video, and so I've been listening to that. I've listened to classical music. I don't know, it's been random, but I've definitely been having headphones on a lot over this past few months.
Yeah, you know, I've been listening to a lot of Yo-Yo Ma. I don't know, there's something in classical music right now that's filling me in a different way. And then I moved into some Nina Simone. I listened a lot to her. It just felt like it was calling me now. And I think it's so interesting at different parts of our lives when we listen to different types of music. And we're so fortunate that we have a world where everything is at our fingertips that way.
So much. I was thinking about that today, actually, how you can really just find anything. I remember I was looking for an Alicia Keys song and I was like, oh, she's got a new album coming out. And like, it'll just be there. And I almost regret it, not regret it, but I felt nostalgic for the time when you have to go and like buy a CD, just because it's a different kind of intentionality that you have of like, I'm going to go get this music. Whereas now you just pull it up whenever, and we're never going back to the way it was. But yeah, there's a different relationship you have with I guess any kind of content when you can just grab it whenever. So it's good and also overwhelming sometimes.
Well, Nathan, I see they're already telling me that our time together is done, but I'm going to be looking for Son House. tonight, later on tonight. So thank you for that. And congratulations on this wonderful new draft of your play. We can't wait to see you at Arena again in the flesh.
Me neither. Thanks, Molly.
Thank you. Great to see you. Kathleen Turner. Movie fans know Kathleen from many notable roles, including Body Heat, Romancing the Stone, Peggy Sue Got Married. She's been on the stage all along as well, having made her Broadway debut in 1978, performing many times there and in London. Arena fans know her from Red Hot Patriot and The Year of Magical Thinking and Mother Courage and Her Children. She's a committed activist. She serves on the board for People for the American Way, Planned Parenthood, City Meals on Wheels, and the International Human Rights Arts Festival. So hi, Kathleen. It's good to see you.
I found more light.
You did, and it looks great. It looks great. Of course, you always look beautiful.
Nice.
So, Kathleen, I'm really curious about, are there any characters from your past or characters that you've been thinking about who you now turn to for wisdom, or who you now turn to and think, ooh, I'd like to play that role?
I find myself going back to Shakespeare all the time. There are many, many roles there, but I am very attracted to Lear. And we will, when I get a little older, I will tackle that one. In any case, I don't know. I've been reading a lot because I'm teaching online now. And at first I really thought, I had my doubts about whether or not it would really work. And I'm used to being in the room with someone. I want to see what their feet are doing. I want to see what their hands are doing, and of course, I can't have any of that now. But it's doing better than I thought it might. So, no, I'm pleased.
It's amazing, isn't it? How we just keep morphing and changing with the times. I feel like we're just compulsive storytellers, and we're going to use whatever mediums we have in order to do it.
I find extremely frustrating that I don't have more of a creative outlet. I wish I was a writer like Nathan, or I'm so impressed with those men.
Yeah. Well, they're incredible artists. I've always been really impressed by you, Kathleen, that you've had this whole through line of being a magnificent actor. You also moved into directing. And then the other side of it is the community service. And I'm curious about how the double pandemics have impacted your community service.
Well, I am having a lot of board meetings, on Zoom. I can't actually go out and do what I want to do, which is to actually serve with City Meals out there, because, I have an underlying precondition of rheumatoid arthritis, and I've taken immune suppressant drugs for 17 years. So it doesn't make me a good candidate to go out and mingle with, other people. That service is terribly important to me. It really is a huge part of my life. I believe that we all owe our communities and whatever reach we have to address a lot of the issues that, and perhaps I feel too more responsible because I can, because people will listen. So,
Kathleen, you come from a family that really was service oriented. Your dad was a diplomat, right?
Yeah, Foreign Service officer. And, yeah, we grew up with the idea, of service. I think I did my first real sort of grown-up job when I was 11 at a orthopedic hospital in Venezuela, in Caracas. But I can literally remember my father saying to me when I was about 13, maybe, saying, you represent, everything you do represents your country. And I was like, oh, hell. I mean, don't do this to me. But I agree.
I do too. I do too. Now, when you're working within the world that has to do with people for the American way, talk a little bit about that and the focus of the organization, because I think people would be interested in that.
Well, it's a wonderful organization, truly. I've been on the board for, I think, 35 years now. We just got a new president, Ben Jealous, who has a wonderful resume. We absolutely go in and target issues and liberal politicians, or progressive, we like to say progressive politicians, and channel the attention and funding if possible. And it's a lot of research, a lot of talk back and forth about. We had a board meeting last weekend, or no, yesterday, I don't know. Anyway, where I got really upset, and I kind of rallied the fellow women board meetings around and go, no. Your list of priorities does not include reproductive health and women's issues, and that's unacceptable to me. And they all went, well, there's only so many things we can do. I said, yes, you can, and you can do this.
And you can do more. You can always do more. You were extraordinary as Mother Courage at Arena Stage. It was a real joy working with you on that project, Kathleen. And that was a love project for you. That was something that you'd wanted to do for a long period of time.
Yeah, that's one of those characters, that you have to tackle. I mean, it's gonna be there. But I want to say also, it was a joy working with you. I found you an extraordinary director. Wonderful balance between, pointing me in the right direction, but not pushing me. But I am very proud of that production.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And another play that you brought to us was The Year of Magical Thinking.
Yeah.
And that was something you very, very much wanted to do, which is interesting to me now, because I think we're in such a time period of grief and longing. And Year of Magical Thinking is all about that. What attracted you to the material?
Well, in truth, I had lost my mother, with whom I was very, very close, the year before. And I was always attracted to Joan Didion's writing about, when she lost her husband and then her daughter, she went to look for how to handle it, for advice, for guidance, and it was nowhere. Americans don't talk about death, or we didn't used to, and so she decided that she would. And it was tough. It was tough to do. But at the same time, it was a great exploration.
Yeah, and you were beautiful in it. You were beautiful in it. And I see we are already at time, if you can believe it. Yes, but I have a special treat. When you go back into the holding room, you will see today's gift of art is Lise Bruneau, who worked with us on Mother Courage and Her Children.
Wonderful.
And she will be reading Molly Oliver's morning poem.
That sounds
And you probably like Mary Oliver's work, right? Her poetry. I do too. And Lise is an artist featured on the Artist Marketplace. So goodbye, Kathleen.
Bye, Molly.
Next time I'm in New York, I'm going to come and see you. I miss you.
Okay. Listen, I'm heading down to Baltimore on the 22nd for crabs, if you want to join us.
Okay. Okay. Love seeing you. Bye-bye. Thank you. And Lise Bruneau, if you enjoy Lise's reading of Morning Poem, check Lise out on the Artist Marketplace and consider hiring her to record a reading of your favorite poem, fully prepared, interpreted, and ready for downloading to give to a special person in your life. And here comes Lise for all of your watching and listening pleasure.
This is Morning Poem by Mary Oliver. Every morning, the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves on the high branches. And the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still, somewhere deep within you, a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer, heard and answered lavishly every morning, whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray. Be well, be safe, take care of each other.